What's going on, everybody? How's it going? Welcome back to another video. It's definitely right after the last video, guys. I promise. Like I just decided to put on a different shirt. Yeah, it's definitely not 2 in the morning. And I decided to play some games. We just finished recruiting. Where is she at? Is she actually known? Oh, there she is. We just finished recruiting Kabbalah. The new carry for the run. Actually, I think she's just going to carry this entire time. We did get, what is this? That is literally just an item for her. Interesting. You know? Put her mask back on. I don't know. She kind of got a cute face, guys. I don't know if we want to cover that up, but it gives a bonus, so I'm gonna throw it on there. She doesn't have a new armor. She doesn't seem like the type to probably wear armor, to be honest. Well, actually, oh no, she does have armor on. She has in this chapter, she has a 50% chance to dodge attacks. That's insane. Insane. We also got a new sword. Where's that? Silent Verdict. Okay. It's a 2-handed melee weapon, and it's also light. I think honestly we throw her this. Instead, if she has 2 weapons, she strikes multiple times. And if I'm being honest, guys, if I'm being real, I kind of want to equip this and like, dude, tell me that's not badass. Yeah, dude, yeah. Okay, she's also a blade dancer. She's your own unique thing. Now, I think it goes without saying, never played this character before, so I have no idea what I'm gonna do. A lot of her like mechanics is the blood stacks and stuff, but I think what we do is we just click on offensive and we just go anytime she scores a critical hit 10% chance to double the damage, so double crit. That seems fantastic to me. And I think something on her armor said if her agility is better, she has a better chance to dodge. Oh my god, she gets so much. This ability costs 8 wounds to you, and she selects an ally and attacks made by the blade dancer against an enemy who have already attacked that ally. We're gonna put that on Abelard, and she's gonna go insane. Oh my god, dude. Her athletics is pretty crap. Her demolition's pretty good, and her medicine's pretty good. Go medicine, because why not? Yeah, okay. She's just cutting herself. I mean, hey man, you do what you want on the ship. When you pull your weight, hey, I'm just gonna look the other way. We're chilling. I will talk to her after a bit. But like, I do want to get some combat in, because I know if we can get to the freaking astropathic station, guys, I would shoot somebody. But Lord Captain, sorry to disturb you. Vidgus pauses as if listening to something. It's pandemonium outside the bridge gate. One of the officers seems to be demanding an audience with you in person. I think I hear Master Werzarian's voice. In any case, I wanted to warn you in advance. You know what? I might end up shooting somebody for you guys. It just might not be in combat. We'll see. We'll just see how I'm feeling. Oh, so far I've been enjoying the heretic playthrough, guys. It's been pretty solid. Is that Werzarian? What's this helmet he's wearing? I guess his little face is there. The everyday sound of the bridge is disrupted by voices raised in anger. Abelard's voice loudest of all. This is not the conduct of an officer. These are the antics of a highborn brat out of a lark. On a lark. Explain yourself, Lieutenant. The young woman standing before Abelard strives in with all her might not to quail under the onslaught of her superior's anger. She falters, but then manages to look him in the eye and say, I apologize, sir, but I must speak to the Lord Captain. Very well, Lieutenant. You may address the Lord Captain. Not least because I see you have already seen fit to disturb him. Your unauthorized appearance on the bridge and display of belligerence toward a higher ranking officer will be logged on your personal file without delay. Lord Captain, Lieutenant Avila Vint requesting permission to speak. She falls silent and adds rashly, on a matter of extreme importance and urgency. Now, okay, we can be honest and we can just be like, I'll listen. You two may speak, but I want to hear a report, not a shouting match. Have 2 officers is unacceptable. I want to tolerate Albel or assign an assistant an appropriate punishment Yes, I like this. Is that dogmatic or heretic? You know what? I'll just hear what she has to say. The matter cannot wait. Any minute now, an assault unit will be dispatched to the lower decks in order to crush a worker strike by any means necessary. But I am convinced that step is unwarranted and that the crisis itself was provoked by the actions of one senior officer. Bent is almost trembling with tension as she delivers her speech, her face extremely pale. Abelard is in no hurry to intervene. He lets out a skeptical huff, glances at Sourback, who is standing not far from him, but she maintains a stony expression. Lord Captain, I urge you to investigate the actions of Seneschal Wurzarian and to intervene in what's happening on the lower decks, because very soon we will have a mutiny or a massacre on our hands. Bent reels off the last words as though she knows them by heart. She has clearly been preparing to say them for some time. When she's finished, she casts an ancient glance at Abelard, then at you. There's an insurrection aboard my ship and no one just cared to inform me? It would not deem it a problem worthy of rogue traders' attention. The lower decks, as it so happens, are in revolt. 30-some years ago, we had a revolutionary leader rise up, who dared to establish workers' rules across the entire ship. It took months to restore order, but even 8 years later, we are still battling rumors that the hero had survived his execution and was on the verge of gathering people to fight against tyranny once more. Abelard scoffs. Needless to say, these rumors were baseless. As for the current situation, we have sufficient enforcers to deal with it. But on this ship, the word of the Lord Captain carries weight than a salvo from 100 bolters. I'm sure that if the rogue trader addressed the malcontents directly, he could quell the unrest. I dread to think what problem you will disturb the rogue trader with next. Perhaps you will ask the Lord Captain to break up the brawls in the mess room. I have already given you the means to resolve this problem. You simply need to use them. If I may, your lordship, sending a hit squad to crush a rebellion is a means of ignoring the problem, not solving it. How did this all start? The situation could boil over at any minute, so I'll give you the condensed version. It all began when the enforcers found a cultist amulet on the body of someone who had been killed in a drunken brawl. We reported up the chain and immediately arranged for a cleansing rite to be performed and opened an investigation. No heretics have been found alive, but the search has brought tension between the enforcers and the workers to a head. Where does Seneschal Wurzarian come into this? I shall explain, Abelard intends grimly. I beg you to hurry, time is running out. I will not hurry. Since my competence is under scrutiny, I shall speak for as long as I see fit. There's an established order to the way things are done on the ship, and one of the pillars of this system is that the rogue trader's attention is not distracted by trivial matters. It is the Seneschal's role to ensure that. I have always handled internal problems myself, so of course, when I received information about cultists hiding on the lower deck, I took that matter into my own hands. So long as I live, not one of those vermin who murdered Theodora von Valentius will find refuge on this ship. You were far too heavy-handed, Seneschal Wurzarian. Arrests, interrogation, mass punishment for entire sectors. It has driven the peoples to the brink, she says bitterly. Now there's a strike on the lower decks, in Depot 4 to be precise. 3 worker clans are involved, but many more will passively support them. The situation could degenerate into an all-out insurrection, but when I report my concerns, the only response I receive was an order to dispatch an assault unit to crush the strike with maximum force. Abelard, what do you have to say to all this? I see no need to add anything. I acted within the remit of my authority, guided exclusively by the best interests of your proctorate and your personal safety. If you wish to rectitude of my actions yourself, I have no objections. For my part, I urge the Lord Captain to go down to the lower decks, stop the assault unit, and speak directly to the people. You will see that they are not lying or harboring heretics. That way, you will stop the uprising before it begins. What is Depot 4? Depot 4 is one of the poorest sectors on the lower decks. It is home to a clans of general laborers. They are not valuable to the ship as the families who have served the specialist systems for generations. They are easily replaceable resources, and one which is now, more besides, giving succor to the cultists and minions of the arch enemy. Depot 4 is poor and troubled, but at worst that means drunken fights and illegal rotgut brewing. We have handled the workers of Depot 4 in the past. We have done so again. If the crackdown on Depot 4 hadn't been so harsh, and another important point to bear in mind, the problem is not limited to this sector. It is located on one of the most populated lower decks, and everything that happens there has been a knock-on effect for all its neighboring sectors. I've seen enough. I'll go down the lower deck. I carry on. Master-at-Arms, the ship's enforcers report to you, and yet you seem hesitant to provide your own perspective. Oh, so Lord Companion, unlike Lieutenant Vent, I respect the chain of command and realize that it is not within my right to challenge my superiors. She bows her head to Abelard's direction. However, a moment later, a serpentine smile appears on her lips. That being said, while I entirely share Master Warzarian's opinion on the fate Depot 4 deserves, I must note this insubordination is a direct consequence of practices that he himself has introduced. Mistress Sourback, I see you have decided to follow Lieutenant's example after all. Such behavior does you no credit. Sourback, explain yourself. The ship's regulations state that the Master-at-Arms is responsible for resolving all matters related to the ship's enforcers, and yet it is no secret that the Seneschal has a tendency to show partiality. Those enforcers and officers who he has deemed particularly promising are at times given permission to approach him for tutelage. I cannot deny Master Warzarian's experience and insight. The Seneschal has a record of fostering students who have indeed achieved much and demonstrated impeccable performance. However, extending such patronage over the head of your immediate superior encourages disregard for hierarchy among your lordship's servants. Today, an enforcer goes to the Seneschal to report an order from the Master-at-Arms that they happen to disagree with. Tomorrow, they will go to the Lord Captain to object to the Seneschal's order. I notice a pattern in these actions. Abelard, do you wish to respond? Mistress Sourback, can you recall an occasion where I would encourage an officer to disobey their superior, or one where I would overrule their order, or show favoritism to those who merited none? None, Seneschal, for there have been no such cases in the entire time I have served aboard this ship. If anyone were to claim otherwise, I would have them pay for insulting your honor with blood. Your conduct in this regard have always been spotless. Nevertheless, given your eminent position, a simple show of attention on your part is enough to erode the propriety of junior officers, inflate their senses of self-importance, and undermine discipline. That you distinguish some of them and know them by name is tantamount to walking around the officers' deck handing out gifts to officers who have caught your eye. It fills those you set apart with ambition and audacity, making them stand out among the rest. Enforcers are meant to be faceless servants, fighters ready to die, their fate entrusted to their commander and no one else. This is the sole foundation of the order. Lieutenant Vent, would you say that Seneschal has singled you out from your peers in any way? Lord Captain, I swear that Seneschal Warzarian has never granted me any privileges, never once advocated for me, nor facilitated my promotions. Although he is the man who convinced me to become an officer in the first place, he has offered me extensive guidance in my services, for which I am grateful to him. And while not all my fellows receive such attention, I know at least a dozen fine officers whom Seneschal keeps in his sights to ensure that they continue to thrive, to prepare new generations of the dynasty's servants, to instruct them, and to separate those with potential from those who have exhausted it. That is my duty as Seneschal. The ship's has bays worth of pilots, enforcers, officers, technicians, and stewards, whom I have raised personally. By the throne, every third person standing on this bridge right now is a student at this point. I see. Evidently, my officers are anything but a shining example of unity and adherence today. I have only myself to blame. I've seen enough. I will go down to deal with it. Praise the Emperor. Thank you, Lord Captain. He grits his teeth slightly. An enterprise bordering on the sophoromic, I don't know. But please, yourself, Lord Captain. However, I categorically insist that I escort you. Lord Captain, I regret to inform you that enforcers were unable to handle the situation, which then led to you and your Seneschal's involvement. I consider it my duty to go to that Depot 4 myself and see the expedient resolution of this incident. God, sometimes reading in this game is hard, man. Just, I don't know if we'll get a chance. I don't know if there's anything heretical we can do, because I mean, honestly, I'm not that bothered by occultists being, rolling up. Wow, nobles from the upper deck down here to see us. Hey, it's Warzarian. Take that, scum. Did they throw freaking acid at him? Dude didn't even flinch. He got acid thrown at him. He's like, eh. Abelard reflectively wipes the sweat from his brow in a startlingly human gesture, and a telling one. A rare moment where he allows his age and wariness to show through his armor like veneer of self-assurances. The lower decks are all source of endless problems. Sometimes I deeply regret that we cannot replace all the locals with servitors. Those people dare respected a senior. Let's keep moving. Let's get to the bottom of this. What is this? Something resembling a nest made out of thermal insulation material. This must be where the workers sleep between shifts.
The world trembles beneath my feet.
Can I do anything with those valves? No, I can't. There's just valves here that I can interact with.
I still do not see our purpose in coming here.
I love these little voices. Oh, well, that was the voice line that I did not see. Greetings, Your Grace. The sounds of a heated discussion reverberate through the ship's bays. Lieutenant Arvila Vent of the ship's enforcers is barring the path of her superior, Master-at-Arms Jocasta Sourback, who has arrived clad in armor. Judging by their expression and tone, the standoff has dragged on for some time already and now has reached a boiling point. Lieutenant Vent, my patience is wearing thin. I have given you an order, now get out of the way. I cannot comply with that order, ma'am. Vent looks shaken, but there is fire in her eyes. This is my deck, my sector. So long as this area remains under the Lord Captain's special oversight, no actions can be taken without my express permission. There are only 3 people who are authorized to make me stand down. The first officer, the rogue trader, and the Emperor himself. So not all of my lessons have fallen on deaf ears. Abelard mutters in a crabby approval. He does not clarify whether he means Vent, Sourback looming over her, or both. Your Lordship, noticing the 2 officers snap to attention and salute, their subordinate following suit a moment later. What is the situation? Your Lordship, my people have locked down the bay where the strikes are, including their leaders. We have the situation under control as the resources allow. Under control, Lieutenant. I came here to lead an investigative unit, and what do I see? The rabble is on the verge of mutiny. There's nothing to investigate. This simply calls for an immediate repression and firing squad, and you, Vent, are to step away from facing charges yourself. We encouraged some locals on your way. Their conduct was outrageous. They even tried to throw things at us. Oh, man. See, so I feel like if I shoot them, I'm going to turn them against me. We got to figure out how to keep the rabble on my side, because I might need sacrifices later. I mean, I need willing people that will throw themselves on my double-bladed sword. I mean, I want to speak to the strikers. Abelard's mouth twists, but he restrains himself and says nothing. Right you are, Lord Captain. Allow me to wish you good luck. Hope gleams in her eyes. Hello, everybody. Greetings, Your Grace. Wow, nobles. A dozen pairs of eyes stare apprehensively at you. The people before you are typical inhabitants of the lower deck. You take in their simple clothing, crude weapons, and faces that display varying levels of mutation, from the barely discernible to the strange to the outright grotesque. He's kind of being cut off by this thing. A whisper passes through the crowd, and you detect a mixture of fear, astonishment, and joy in their reactions. Finally, 3 people break away from the crowd. An elderly woman and 2 men. These must be the leaders. They bow clumsily before you. Lord Captain, you have come down to see us. We were attacked on the way here. How do you explain that? Here's an explanation for you. The people have been pushed to their limits, and now they're lashing out. As if we don't know why these top deck units are being sent down here. Like that one there is that lieutenant won't let pass. Our clans are all inside the bay that's been sealed off, but the lower decks are big. And I'm sure there are some people who have had just about enough. We're getting it from all sides. The soldiers who encircled the ones who've risen up. A death squad has just arrived. No wonder folks are lashing out. Awareness test succeeded. Their words seem sincere to you. Their body languages and glances traded between them reveal that the news of the attack has shocked them. Tell me what is troubling you. Why are you striking? Striking! That's news to us, your lordship. This is a tall, thin man in a worker's garb. All we're doing is asking questions, saying what we think. Shut up, Reddit. Snaps the old woman who turns her hostile eyes to you. Here's the deal, your lordship. Your damned enforcers are all over us down here. They say they're looking for cultists. One wrong word and they're reaching down there for their batons. If they want to punish someone, they turn off the heating to the whole bay for a week at a time. So we get sick and freeze. In my clan, the 2 little ones died from inflammation in their lungs, all because of those enforcers. She spits on the floor and rubs that spittle with the toe of her worn-out shoe. Argenta does not interrupt the workers, but you can see sadness well in her eyes when the children's death are mentioned. She quietly whispers a requiem and prayer and makes a sign over herself. It's all true. Vent is the only enforcer who stood up for us. It's clear as day who had a mother in the lower decks and who's grown up amidships and has no feelings towards us. The grim man with scarred face throws up his arms. Your lordship, we're no villains here. We're honest workers, your servants. We plotted no disorder. We went on strike openly, and now we've got guns pointed at us. All we're doing is asking to be allowed to work in peace without being harassed. The prosecutions started apropos of nothing, you say. I was told one of you found in possession of a cultist amulet, and that there are heretics here. A cultist amulet? What's that? The gewgaw they found on the dead drunkard? If it was something evil or forbidden, we surely didn't know. The enforcers just said they were looking for heretics among us, and anyone obstructing their investigation will be punished. But how could there be heretics here? We know our people, and there have been no new faces around. Definitely not, and if there were, we would be the first to report them. And after this amulet or whatever it is, they took it off the dead body. There are no cultists still breathing out in this sector, that's for sure. But when that fight broke out, some enterprising folks looted the bodies. The boots they came back with, nobody's ever tread these decks in the boots so fine. I can tell you that. It seems to me these cultists have better commanders than us. Oh yeah, those boots really were fine, and there's no harm in taking them, right? As for the amulet, it must have been pickpocketed by someone who didn't know any better. We didn't need any amulets around here. We all worship the Emperor, and when we're working, we bow down before the machine spirits on the large and small transformers and the servo motors, the same way my grandfather was taught 100 years ago by a tech priest who came calling. Believe us, your lordship, we are people of faith. Naive children, weren't you taught from an early age about the dangers of the arch-enemy's creations? Weren't you warned that any unfamiliar object could be one of them? We were told, Holy Sister, but it was long ago. The last time we saw a confessor in our sector, it was just after I'd had my third little one. That is regrettable, but you cannot lay the burden of leading a righteous life on the shoulders of our holy fathers. Who will you blame when the beast crawls out of the amulet you stole from the heretics? The Holy Father who was not here, or the scavenger who brought down evil upon himself and his neighbors? Abelard, do you have anything to add to this? I authorized the use of all necessary measures to locate Chaos Worshippers hiding in this sector. The specific steps taken by the officers were not reported to me. Abelard frowns, clearly disgruntled at having to explain himself in a worker's presence. Nevertheless, I am certain that their actions were justified. Cultists are no drunken stevedores. They are the enemy and a threat to the ship. Neutralizing them demands decisive action. Sourback wasn't necessarily to torture these people with cold. The rabble understand only one language, Lord Captain, that of violence. As per regulations, should the laborers persist in their unwillingness to cooperate, the next step is limiting air supply and cutting off water, which is almost certain to restore order. The peasants can grumble all they want, but in the end, they are the source of their own misery. All they have to do is bow their heads and fall in line, and there's no need for punitive measures. It will disappear. What changes do y'all want? Would you look at this? The exalted Lord Captain himself is asking us bilge rats what we want. Well, here's what we want. We want you to rein in the damned enforcers, to quit turning off the heat, and to stop battering everything that moves. No, that's not it. We want the enforcers gone from here, and we want to be armed. Give us arms and we'll govern ourselves. We'll defend ourselves if these cultists show their damn faces. I've been the leader of my clan for 20 years. Now getting rid of these club-wielding thugs can only improve things around here. You've gone too far, old man. They'll never let these maggots on the lower decks live without enforcers breathing down their necks. They probably even insisted on enforcers on the upper decks too. As for weapons, what do we need them for? Before the first day's out, we'll have somebody shooting their neighbor for stupidity or drunkenness. We don't need that. If the enforcers stop harassing us, that'll be enough. In return, we'll find the scavenger who robbed the cultist's body and we'll talk to them. One lower deck to another. If there are any more of those damned amulets around, we'll hand them over to the enforcers ourselves. See, that's good. You speak for yourself and your clan, and I'll speak for me and mine. I don't want empty gestures. I want real change. They'll promise us the world now, but just as soon as the Anointed One turns his back, these brutes will be on us even harder than they were before, all because we dared to speak out. The tall worker's eyes glance between the two arguing leaders. Every few seconds, he opens his mouth as if he planned to agree, but each time he falls silent, simply making a few vague noises of approval. Okay. Spreading anarchy in the ship is the first order. Embracing chaos, putting a weapon in untrained hands would be even worse. What's more, the enforcers are needing to man order. 95% chance. Thoughts, Abelard? The story about us scavenging for boots and accidentally picking up a heretical item amulet doesn't convince me. These people were moments away from rebelling and possibly becoming minions of the arch enemy. We must not simply give them what they want, even if they did acquire something innocently, purely out of their own stupidity. That does not mean they are not tainted with corruption. What begins as petty thievery can turn into a far graver problem, and I have seen it before. His face darkens momentarily. In my second war, there was a sergeant in the Imperial Guard regiment that was stationed nearby. The sergeant took an ordinary pocket knife from a body of a heretic, and his whole unit lost their lives for it. When they finally managed to break into the barracks, they found not a single survivor, only the pocket knife, which had grown through all the rows of the bed like a metal choking vine. So when it comes to the scavenging malcontent strikers or whatever they'll turn into next, My verdict is simple. Give them no quarter. That's metal, dude. Master at arms, where do you stand? Give the rabble the groks and they will take an agri-world, Lord Captain. They only understand brute force and will interpret any concession as a sign of weakness. Giving them weapons and recalling the enforcers would be a folly, and it'd only be a matter of time if we had a full-scale mutiny on your hands. Oh my god, we can kill everybody. Yeah, we'll go with this because it seems like, even if I'm not being heretical, this is the best way. I mean, if we give them guns, then what happens if they don't want to be sacrificed? They're just going to try to shoot me. Seems like a bad ploy. I need to keep them unarmed, and, you know, I keep them corralled. They're like cattle, you know, they're for my sacrifices. I'm going to glue this. We have a 95% chance. Hopefully we don't fail, right, guys? Okay, thank God we fell. I passed. I saw Rivet's name red, and I was like, oh. Okay. The tall worker they call Rivet shrugs and casts a sidelong look at the woman. Old Nan, listen. The Lord Captain himself has come down to us and is offering us concessions. And I don't know a single person in the whole of Depot 4 who's ever stood next to the rogue trader, let alone talk to them. Back down. Now's no time for you to be a stubborn old crone. Listen to us, Old Nan. 3 clans of Depot 4 act as one. We've made our minds up. It's your turn to decide. Don't ask them to disband the enforcers or give us weapons. We don't need any of that. The old woman hisses in dissatisfaction. You two are ganging up on me? Is that it? So brave you are against an old woman, but I'll shut up. I will indeed. I won't go against 2 clan leaders on my own. If you want to make peace with the enforcers, make your peace. That's great. Just fantastic, Lord Captain. We are all agreed. Then it's decided. The prosecutions will stop, and I will expect you to assist in any locating the remaining amulets or weapons left by the cultist. Your Lordship, thank you. You have not abandoned us lower quarters. You came yourself and settled everything. I'll tell my grandchildren about this. Of course, Your Lordship. We'll root out any nasty business faster than the enforcers, and we'll leave no stone unturned. Easy. This is complete bedlam. Are you satisfied, Lord Captain? Then may I suggest we leave this circus here? Can I actually... oh, I actually can't. I can't read his, like, line. That's unfortunate. Nope.
Powers unseen uncover.
Oh, no, we can. May I suggest we leave the circus and discuss everything en route? Oh, God. Stopping unexpectedly, Abelard imperiously dismisses the unit at the stand in the distance and addresses you and your companions, or your other companions, saying, I have an urgent matter to discuss with Lord Captain. Please give us a moment. Abelard looks at you, and his last vestiges of restraint vanish. Well, are you pleased with your investigation, Lord Captain? You kowtowed to this disloyal rabble. You believe their lies and showed them leniency. Next time the ship is attacked by cultists, the rabble will welcome them with open arms and allow them to wreak havoc wherever they like because they see you as a weak leader. Is that how you see the future helm of the Von Village's proctorate? There's some truth in your criticism. I should say so. Abelard heaves a sigh, but visibly relaxes. You simply need to trust me. I would have handled that situation myself had you not decided to intervene. Abelard says a word I cannot say. Remember Lord Captain Theodora. Do you think she ever set once slippered foot in the lower decks? No, she did not. Such matters were left to myself and the junior officers while she dedicated herself to the grand designs of the proctorate, as any true strategist of the rogue trader ought. Maybe if Theodora spent more time in trifling matters, she wouldn't have wound up dead. There's a new Lord Captain aboard the ship, and I will not repeat her mistakes. I would only be too willing to trust my seneschal and not fill my head in such matters, but the situation had spiraled out of control. Give me a reason why I should listen to your advice and trust in your judgment. Right now, I don't see any. Ooh, man. Okay. So one is gonna make him angry because we're gonna bring up Theodora. This one's gonna make him angry because we're being like, well, we can't even trust you because you're retarded. And none of these, all these are gonna piss him off. In my right hand man, I'm just like, you're bad, trash. I'm just gonna do the Theodora one because, you know, that one's not a direct slight against him. Abelard looks stunned at you and exhales loudly, then nods curtly. I commend your decisiveness, but I am uncomfortable with introducing new protocols in the midst of a crisis. And Abelard stands to attention. I lost my temper, Lord Captain, and I believe I ought to explain myself. Abelard speaks slowly, the words not coming easy to him. The prosperity of the Von Valencia's proctorate is not just an empty phrase to me. I left the Imperial Navy for a chance to see it flourish. It was the most momentous decision of my life. I did it because I saw the Lord Captain Theodora's deeds as a sign of greatness. Rogue traders do not simply forge new routes and capture worlds. They create order out of anarchy. They create impulse we're entirely lacking during my time in the military. So I left behind everything I had known, everything my family had known, and I had come from a long line of officers, and I embarked upon this incredibly reckless venture. Lord Captain Theodora entrusted me with all the concerns she had no time for. She would go off on her flagship for long periods to distant frontiers, on scouting voyages, and the advancement of the entire proctorate resting on my shoulders. And then suddenly, everything that had been built over the years and years began to quake, riding like a flimsy hanger on a seismically active world. One of the senior officers betrayed us all. The rogue trader was killed, and who knows what else is happening on the planets. And I tell you this honestly, without fear of appearing weak, all this has come as a grievous blow to me. I'm not panicking or grieving because I cannot allow myself to panic or grieve. I am duty bound to aid the rogue trader. I aid you to find your footing as quickly as possible, and to do that, I must insulate you from the problems in the past that have to be dealt with by tried and tested procedures set out in the ship's regulations. Procedures that were established long ago and have functioned smoothly for decades cannot suddenly be deemed excess to requirements. Oh man, look at this man. He's opening his heart to me. I've seen plenty of sentiment and handwriting in these days, but very low competence. I have no plans. I value what Theodore created. I trust in the situation is an aberration. The ship's otherwise smooth sense of change them. Is just as important to me. You are the only person who has comprehensive knowledge of how to run things. I would think I would in the future. All your recommendations. I understand, but you need to respect me as Lord Captain Rogue Trader and accept it as start living in a new world. The world of Theodora is gone, where you and I have new decisions to make. So these two are the same thing basically, but one's like stop living in the past. Let's go with the slightly less aggressive one. I understand, but you need to learn how to respect me as your new Lord Commander and a Rogue Trader. Accept it and start living in a new world, a world where Theodora is gone, where you and I have new choices to make. Abelard solemnly inclines his head. Yes, Lord Captain. After a minute, his silence, he adds, looking at you with interest. Your resolve was admirable and demonstrates strong leadership. I shall remember this moment and shroud my old habits if they ever creep back in. And now, please let us leave the lower decks. If the Rogue Trader desires to stretch his legs, there are far more suitable places. Whew. Guys, I didn't get to shoot anybody. But that's the end of the video. Oh, wow. Ooh. I tell you, the game is good. Even when I'm just reading, that is like this was just a whole episode of reading. I had a blast. I had such a good time. Well, guys, and we also leveled up. I'll go ahead and I'll level up in this episode. That way we don't have to do it at the start of the next episode. See, and then maybe next episode we'll get to stab somebody. Do I want weapon skill or do I want toughness? Let's just go. I'm gonna go strength. Brutal Hunter, 15% critical hit chance against targets with bleeding effects, 10% crit chance for axes, hammers, or las weapons, disoriented pain. Well, none of those are that great, to be honest. Lifetime of scars, suffer 5 less damage from fire, toxic, and bleeding effects. That could be pretty good. Once per combat, when a Death World character suffers stunned, blinded, or immobilized, this effect is ignored, and instead they gain 20% of their maximum wounds as temporary wounds. That's pretty good. Oh man. I like the tenacity. Tenacity seems pretty good. Blade Dancer. Agility, blade in his hand. Any blade dancer's attack made with the sword deals additional damage. This bonus is doubled if using a two-handed sword. Oh, that sword's meant for her. You know what? We'll do that because I also need to equip her with a second sword. We'll be finicky with how her damage is. What's her agility? We'll go with ballistic skill. Better to die for the Emperor. While under this, she gains plus 10 bonus to all things, plus to resolve. 10% crit chance, 10% armor against Xenos or demonic creatures. Their allies gain half the bonuses of No Heresy. Affected by their resolve, stronger together. Melee, flame, and melt attacks against demons and psychers deal an additional 6 damage and 18% armor pen. Such attackers against Dinos. Let's see if hatred. Purification. Oh man. 12% armor against that. The Emperor protects. I guess we could get Bolt Master. Yeah, let's go Bolt Master. She used. I had her use the bolter the entire time I played Argenta. So until the operative's next turn, their allies' attacks also remove exploits and deal int bonus more damage or precise attack. What is these? Create an area that lasts until the starting Night Sucker's turn. All allies within this get 6 dodge. Their dodge cancel no address. Okay, I think we're gonna go with stuff like this. Biomancy focuses on manipulating living flesh and biological processes. Biomancers can heal wounds and alter physical characteristics. So what does this mean? Does this open just a line of me being able to heal stuff? Oh, look. Okay, so this is like, what is this? It's its own thing. But I can become a healer, I can become a pyromancer, or I can get, I guess, buffs. We're gonna make her a healer. That could be pretty good, I feel like. Stat-wise, she's kind of, you know what? We should be doing this. I should just be making her my, lore person. Abelard just needs to be tanky. I just want him to be tanky. Do not suffer negative impacts, melee superiority for the entire combat. Oh, let's get off me. I'll scroll down to the bottom. Okay, never mind. This doesn't give me anything. I could give him a sword thing. Dude, is there a sword thing? What is melee superiority bonus? Any target surrounded by more allies than enemies receives +10 weapon bonus. Oh, I can make it so that, yeah, let's do that one. Because then I think that's basically like flanking. If they flank him, they get +10 to their weapon skill. Does she have 2 swords? That's a dagger, right? Because that is a sword. It's a primitive weapon. Okay, do I have any swords? No, I don't. Oh, I do. It does less damage, but she does her agility bonus, like a percentage of it to actual damage. Yeah. Hopefully we'll find her a better sword. Kit wise, we're looking pretty solid, I think. You know what? Let's give her the prison. Actually, wait, she's already got a dagger. That's a pretty good dagger. The guy's something like a lie to you. Okay. Guys, that's gonna be the end of this episode. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Next episode, perhaps we will make it to the techno whatever place, you know. Maybe we'll make it to the astropathic station, you know, guys. We might make it there, maybe, possibly, teeny tiny chance that we actually make it there and we get to stab somebody. I hope you look forward to that. I will see you guys in the next episode. I'm going to save it in the map, so when I load this game, we're in the map. Because I don't know if I'm going to record another episode. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to get this uploaded so that you see this today. I'm recording this in the morning before this video is supposed to come out. This video comes out in 14 hours, something like that. No, wait, 15 hours. 15 hours. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm going to be at work for most of that. Well, guys, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow or whatever.